Part 2 of the MED committee will be starting shortly. I I was going to do the whole committee video last night, but I took some Theraflu, nighttime Theraflu, before I did all of this, and it was kicking in really hard where I felt like I was going to have to take a nap. So I am doing part 2 right now, and they are talking about the update to the Signia Hotel.
Thank you so much for your presentation. The last thing on our agenda is an update regarding the Signia Hotel.
Signa?
And so as part of our commitment to this deal, we were going to have regular updates to various council committees throughout the project. So thank you so much for being here this evening.
Yes. Good evening, Madam Chair. David Fredericks, Director for the Office of Minority and Women Business Development, as our colleagues from AECOM Hunt set up. Yes, to your point, we are here just to give an update on the Signia Hotel
If you didn't catch that, that is the affirmative action department that Indianapolis has.
project. I know I personally made this commitment as we were meeting and discussing this project, I believe last May. So we are here today with me and actually doing the majority of the presentation is the project manager for this particular project from AECOM Hunt, who is the general contractor, and that is Mr. Bill Sewell. So I will turn it over to Bill. He will introduce his team members that are here with him, and then afterwards we will be glad to answer any questions that we have.
Thank you
Bill.
so much.
All right, thank you, David. Thank you, Madam Chair and Council. As you know from when we did an outreach in your District 5, we love talking about this project in public. So we got a call Friday that it's time to start this cadence of meetings. We jumped on it, threw together a little PowerPoint. Unfortunately, we didn't have time to put it on your desk in front of you, so you'll have to refer to the screen. But the things you can't see on it because of the distance, I'll try and talk about it and just kind of point out the highlights of this presentation. So what we're going to do, got probably half a dozen quick slides to just give you a flavor for where we are in the process, what we're doing with the procurement, what some opportunities are for businesses and workforce.
Oh boy. I did not see who that was. Hey, I know who's watching this video right now. Look at that. Oh boy.
With me is Haley Pruitt. Haley, you can raise your hand. She's running the machine there. Haley, along with Barbara Holder, are on our staff and head up the diversity outreach efforts, mostly for the project. And then also we have the CIB with us. David's got additional staff from OMWD, BD, and Fahad, and Bill Shrewsbury. And then we also have some business owners who are involved in the project. And, you know, this being a gigantic marquee project, you know, it's one of those rising tides, and let's see where, you know, what other ships float, right? So we've got a couple of those ship captains with us that we would like to, or that would like to take an opportunity to talk about a little bit about their involvement in the project and what it's meant to them. So, as David said, William Sewell, I'm Vice President with Hunt Construction Group, AECOM Hunt, and I'm heading up the construction team on the project. So the first slide is a milestone slide schedule to give you a flavor for where we are.
A little flavor?
This project started, as you may recall, as a private project, and some site enabling and demolition was procured that way before the city became fully involved and became a 100% city project. So that's the far left-hand side of the chart there. Now you get up to Q1 of 24. We've started demolition, and more importantly, we started procurement of everything public. So we're burning off the work that was procured under the prior arrangement. Now we're going to work getting ready to start foundations in the spring under the under the public procurement protocols.
Tax money.
And then the last two bullets on that slide are topping out the structure at the end of 25 and opening it for business in the fall of 26.
This project sucks.
The demolition phase, if you drive by the site right now, we're cleaning up for the NBA All-Star game, but we're continuing to demolish everything in red on the site. And so the below grade work inside enabling has been going on all winter, and now it becomes, we've started to tear down things that are actually visible for the public. So there should be a renewed interest in the project a little bit. The next slide is a drone shot from last week showing the far left-hand side of that screen is basically the Crown Plaza Hotel. You're looking northwest in this shot. So you can see we've cut a path, completely demolished the parking garage, all 3 stories of below-grade parking, a swath from Capitol to Illinois across the south end. And then that demolition path is now turning and marching north and heading to that ice rink. And then that will come down, and then that west rink will come down. Once that happens, it basically becomes a concrete wall, dirt floor bathtub, and is ready to start the new work, which you'll see right here. So here's a quick graphic, and this is really interesting because there's a timeline going across the top, so we can at any time tell a stakeholder or an interested party when the foundations start, when it's no longer a hole in the ground, when the tower cranes go up, when they come down, when the Signia 800-room hotel is to a certain level, when it's enclosed, when the bridge, the connector bridge to the convention center goes over Capitol. So all those things are, made evident by this graphic that we've developed, and also so the bidding community knows what's expected of them, and so they can plan their resources and their material procurements and so forth around this.
Gotta admit, this is pretty cool.
So, we can always say, look, we'll be under roof. Here across the top, it's showing us Q3 and Q4 of 25. It's all dried in. Right about now is when the tower tops out with the concrete. It's the end of 25. And we close it with some steel and metal panels. So that's, kind of a graphic representation of the sequence that our schedule is built by, the durations for each activity, so everybody can plan their work accordingly, and we can be good stewards of the message, right, and let you all know where we are on completion of the project. So that's it, and a couple more slides. So I'm going to let Haley talk about the next 2 here while I catch a breath.
Diversity outreach events.
I like how they're just focusing on the diversity.
AECOM Hunt's diversity team has administered 52 MWVDBE outreach events from the beginning of May 2023 to the end of December 2023. That is 52 outreach events in 7 months. AECOM Hunt and Barbara Holder Consulting Services are hosting a leadership lunch and learn for all 25 city county councils to inform and engage everyone on the progress of the Indianapolis Convention Center Hotel and Ballroom. We have an upcoming MWVDBE outreach event on February 27, 2024, focusing on bid packages 3B and 4, and solicit bids are March 1st, 2024 to April 4th, 2024. Bids are due April 4th, 2024. This outreach event is to engage all city county council and have one-on-one meetings with prime and XBE contractors. Our efforts are to provide contract opportunity and not just another outreach with no outcome. The next slide is going to show the flyer and the save the date for the leadership lunch and learn. And I believe you guys all have received both of those. Now I'm going to give it back to Bill.
Okay, we will email you this presentation tomorrow so you can see this detail. So let's talk about what the dollars that have been spent so far. So of the little over $400 million of money that will be committed to procure the work, only $15 million of it has been awarded. Well,
yeah, the job's
3%
only started.
right? So of that $15 million, we are at 15% minority participation for the subcontractors. Now, what's interesting about that, those are some categories where there was not really a heavy structure of subcontractors who could do that work, and it's small dollars that are mostly labor intensive, so there was not a lot of buying opportunities. And it's also the work that was procured privately, so there was not an XBE requirement. So despite all those barriers, we're still at 15% on that early enabling work.
I want to make sure we're all clear of what he's talking about right now. He's saying that not a lot of the dollars have been used because, well, first off, the job has just started. Not even jobs just started. They're just doing demo work right now. Not only that, but the foundation isn't even getting laid until March of this year. Is that what he said? I think it was February. Yeah, March or April of this year. So there's no real work happening for another 2 months. So you still have to bid all that stuff out. This was just about demo and cleanup right now. And what he's saying is that all of these agreements were already figured out before it got moved into the public arena. Because if you remember, this was first a private deal. And then Hogsett thought it was a great idea for the taxpayers to fund this whole thing. And so all those prior deals that they had made rolled over into this. And what he's saying is that there were no requirements for that private deal for an XBE, and now and they didn't really have to if they didn't want to because they were just following through with prior requirements. And they said they went out of their way to make sure to remember they went out of their way. He just said it. They went out of their way to make sure the XBE requirements are made, even though he didn't have to, but he wanted to make sure that the people that want these diversity quotas, these affirmative action plans, that they were happy. But I will tell you this right now. Nothing will ever make them happy unless they own everything, and they'll still bitch that they're not getting enough. Because we've seen this time and time again that you could fucking give them sorry for the cursing. I know. Hey, someone who's watching. You told me to keep it easy with the language. I know. I'm trying, but look at getting a little annoyed because we've been seeing this for the last 4 years. Now Indianapolis has a whole department on affirmative action hires and making sure their diversity quotas are actually kept up to their 15%, I think is what it is. It's either 12 or 15%. And it's never going to be enough. Because unless, and this is just not black people, this is Hispanics, this is women-owned businesses, this is veteran-owned businesses, disabled-owned businesses. Like, can you imagine that someone in a wheelchair is picking up garbage? I mean, it would be pretty cool to see like a transformer where they go doo, 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 and they just turn into a giant garbage can and they're sucking everything up. That would be so cool. Probably some Elon Musk transhumanism stuff. But just to make sure it all clear, he is making sure he is pointing out that they went out of their way to make sure that the XBE requirements were up to par, even though they didn't have to.
So now going forward, the other $400 million worth of work is where most of the minority and small business and local business enterprises will have opportunities. So moving on to the next.
And you can see it right here. Total minority business owners, 4%. Total women business owners, 9.22%, and total veteran-based business owners, 1.71%. Here's the funny part. This can be manipulated, okay? If you have a wife, if say you want to have a construction company, all you have to do is put the woman on the president or the chairman, the chairwoman, and that woman owns the business. Ta-ta! No big deal. Oh, you got family? Just load them up. Nieces, aunts, just sisters, whatever. Put them on as the primary. No big deal. You want to know why? Because I've actually seen it, and I've talked to business owners about it. It's that easy.
Slide. Okay, before I talk about that, we'll just finish up here. So we're also tracking the workforce goals on the project, which is those are actual goals on the right-hand side. The are actual results on that early enabling work. So today, with 152 workers having come through the gate over the course of the work so far, expected to be in the 8,000 range by the time it's ultimately finished. we have 22% minority workforce, 2% women in the workforce, and 29% of the workforce lives in Marion County.
Look at that. 15% of that is Hispanics. Yo, let's go. Native Americans. Where's that, Elizabeth Warner? Elizabeth
So,
Warren.
again,
Sorry.
it's kind of just an early metric. That doesn't mean much when we're so early in the infancy of the job, but these are numbers that we'll track and report to you in every monthly report.
That's funny.
So, moving on now. So those other buying
Those were people in the labor, okay? Just remember that.
opportunities where XBE companies can participate. Haley mentioned bid pack.
I know I keep pausing this, but I want to make sure that we're clear on everything. Because for those of you that are not in construction or in some like blue collar job, like there are layers to this thing. There is like the bidding process of what they're talking about. That doesn't even the bidding schedule does not start until March of this year, and it will end April. And that's just the interior construction. The interior finishes, which will take until job won't even start until 25. They're starting that bidding in May. So I want to make sure that I'm stressing this. We are so early in this thing that nobody should have to worry about this diversity stuff.
Package 3 and 4. What that means, that's interior construction. That's the drywall finishing, the masonry work. Lots of places where small businesses that are certified by David's organization are aware of and poised to bid on this project. We take those bids in April. And then following that, then we take bids on the final interiors. This is the paint, the flooring, the wall covering, the carpet.
Those are the things that people see every day, in my opinion, because listen, for those who know me, I have done a lot of housework. I have basically renovated my entire house down to the bare studs. And anybody that's done any kind of like carpet or flooring, like that stuff is a pain in the ass. That stuff is a work of art. And that takes real skill to get that stuff right.
Tile, millwork. This is a big millwork package.
Yeah, because they're wanting to make sure when millwork, what he's talking about is like wood trim, the stuff that has like the curves and the cuts to it. I mean, just like the real fancy stuff. Millwork is a son of a bitch too.
So as we go through each of these phases,
and right there
are
again,
two really big hits.
I'll try not to pause it
places
so
to
much.
Check our progress on the diversity spend that we're going through. So with that, I would like to invite to the podium, maybe Danita, would you like to join us here? And has Kevin made it? Okay, sure. Kevin, you want to come on up?
Good evening, Madam Chair and Council. My name is Danita Johnson, and I'm one of the CCA Circle City Alliance members. CCA is composed of 7 different businesses. We're a joint venture, and we have had an opportunity to be in on this project, and Hunt has really been helpful. We ran into barriers in terms of insurance that we needed to get started.
Yeah.
$5 million. And Mr. Sawyer was able to make some calls and work some things out so that we're able to work on the job. And so I just want to say that we support the project. We hope you guys are supporting, and we hope to see more women on the project also. Thank you.
Only if they want to work on that kind of project.
Oh, did you have a question for me?
Well, I'll ask the gentleman. He can have a broader perspective. I don't want to put you on the spot, so I'll ask him.
Uh-oh.
Just, all right, counselors. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Now, my question is going to be, with this project you put together, these individuals, what are the businesses that they're involved with individually, and what is the collective doing?
As what?
7 companies came together, right?
If you could
Yes.
speak a little bit more to
Yes.
that.
Okay, so that's a really good topic, because we've reached out to the broad trucking community in central Indiana, and found out that 80% of the trucking businesses have triaxle dump trucks. And this is not a big dump truck job. This is a flatbed job, because we disassemble the parking garage and we don't dig a hole, right? So any other job,
Yeah, the hole's already there.
the first thing you do is move dirt for 7 months, and everybody gets a piece of that. This one, we tear down the garage and the hole's already there. So we found all these trucking companies coming to the meetings, and there was little opportunity. So we said, this isn't the only city job that's going to be going on, and so many companies had 2 trucks and one of them's broke down. So under David's coaching and some others, we kind of put together a session called a joint venture, kind of a lunch and learn thing. And we educated them on the benefits of joining smaller companies together, so that then they have 50 trucks or whatever as a resource, can bid on these big jobs, can go after I-69 work, can look at Indy 11, that's going to be a big dirt moving job, and kind of fostered some teaming, so that, yes, this job fostered the team, the JV, but their best opportunities are some of the other jobs. So this is not a project selfish thing. It was, an opportunity that's going to benefit these companies all throughout their future now.
So thank you, Madam Leader. Are these are 7 trucking companies, independent 7 trucking companies came together to create a collective?
Yes.
So what other opportunities have you done like this outside of trucking? Is it trucking is the only one that?
Well, there's nothing to do right now.
No, we have a similar scenario with a drywall company right now, who was interested in getting involved in the project. We tried to find a lane that they fit, and even that lane seemed a little challenging for them. So we put them under a mentorship with a larger drywall contractor, and they're involved in the project today.
That's because you want to know what he's saying, right? They probably only do like residential jobs or like smaller jobs. Like this is a gigantic job, and they just say, well, we put them under a mentorship for with a larger company that probably handles big jobs, like probably apartment buildings or commercial buildings where there's a lot of drywall happening. Like I'm sure that one guy couldn't handle. He doesn't have the crew for it.
They building our model rooms.
Thank you. My last comment, Director Precious, if we can just get the revenue, we're going to do that today, though, but just I want to know what this collective and with the MB status of folks like these, I want to see what the revenue is that's being generated by these individuals, what they're receiving. So
he wants to know what they're getting paid. Again,
it's great, but I don't want to see they each getting $5,000. We want to see some significant amount of resources going to these companies that you're doing this. It's a great idea, though. Mm-hmm. We want them to be getting a nice piece of the pie, though.
Leroy is such a fuck. You stupid son of a bitch. I would tell this to his face, too. Unfortunately, he had me blocked for a really long time. I want to make sure that you're giving more money to diversity hires. Is that what you're saying, Leroy? Because that's what it sounds like what you're saying. What you're getting paid is what you're getting paid. That's what you agreed to get paid. So if they're only getting $5,000, then that's all that you signed up for. If you want them to get paid more, then guess what, pal? Bid for it.
Right. Okay.
This is how out of touch these people are. And when I say these people, I mean the council. I'm talking about these pencil pushers, these white-collar job people, the people that are at the top of the level right now that do not understand construction, blue-collar jobs, the process of all this. This is literally all labor. That's how construction works, man. It's all labor.
Thank you.
My name is Kevin Mason.
Hey, Lakeisha Jackson had a question, too.
My company's name is Access Partners. I was brought in to to bring all the guys together. All the guys in the group are at different business levels. Some are, it's kind of like a wedge. Some are higher and have more experience or more financial than the others. So with this group, we're putting them all and getting them all equal so they can be prepared to, as other jobs come available, they will be at an equal level to bid as a whole. Our biggest challenge has been the insurance piece, the bonding piece, and we seem to be with some movement, negotiation, a lot of conversation that we're getting that resolved. But we're also, Circle City Alliance, we are positioning ourselves to be a subcontractor beside a subcontractor.
I know I keep pausing this, but I really want to make sure I make all this stuff clear for the people that aren't in blue collar work. Like, when you have a construction business, when you have any kind of business anyway, you have to have insurance and you have to be bonded. Now, bonded is usually because, like, the company had a I'm not I'm pretty sure this is how it works anyway. I've never owned a construction company. I've owned a business. And I sold it, but on bond is if that company subcontracts to somebody else and they mess up the job, then that bond will protect them. That money will protect them so they don't go under. But these are these are regulations that you have to follow. I mean, these are the rules to even get into the room. And what he's saying is like, oh, it's a $5 million insurance. Well, yeah, man, insurance is expensive and it's only going to go up too, for many reasons that we won't talk about right now. But they were talking about, I forgot what his name, Willie, the tall white dude. He was talking about how they've worked together to try and get these things going on. And even Danita, she said that they were able to help out, which I think is amazing. And I think, and I don't like this project, by the way. I fucking hate it. Sorry, cursing words. I'll put one in the swear jar. I do not like this project at all. I don't like the fact that taxpayers are funding this whole thing. If the private sector did not want to deal with it, that means this job is bunk. Whether it's from labor, cost of materials, the insurance, whatever. But somehow, like, we're gonna take a gamble on taxpayer money. That sounds like a terrible idea, because what's probably going to happen, and then we'll go back to the video, is we'll get done with it, and then we're going to sell it off and hopefully make a profit. And then that loan will go to somebody else, and hopefully the money that they sell it for will also pay off the interest on the loan, because the interest is probably what's going to kill us.
I'm sorry, what was the name of your business?
Beg pardon?
What was the name of your business?
Access Partners.
Thank you.
I like that jacket.
More questions?
Thank you.
Okay, I can go.
Thank you. So, Haley, I think that's our last slide, right? So just any questions for the project?
Yep, so we'll open it up for questions and comments from the council. But before I do that, has the XP inclusion plan been signed off by our parties?
Yes.
It has. Is it possible for us to get a copy of that?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Councilor Jackson.
Thank you, Majority Leader. Thank you for the presentation, the update. Can we get a copy of this presentation?
Yeah, we'll email it to you in the morning.
Thank you.
Because of the video in there, it's too large of a file to email, so watch for an email from WeTransfer.
WeTransfer.
Or can you delete the video and then transfer it? That'll work.
Yeah. I can do
Just give us a different version without the video in it. Thank you so much. I want to echo the sentiments of my colleague, Chairman Robinson. I think that you all being creative and innovative to bring in additional minority-specific Black vendors is great. But again, just making sure that they're not getting pieces or shavings. We want to create some millionaires out of this project.
Millionaires? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? How are you going to create millionaires when Danita even said that she couldn't get a $5 million insurance? Are you kidding me? Millionaires? Most of these projects, I would bet that like the highest company that's getting paid the most is at probably like a couple $100,000. Oh, we need to make millionaires. How are you going to be a millionaire putting up drywall on one job? Are you kidding me right now? You have to have multiple companies to do a job of this size.
And I want to say, for the record, some Black millionaires. I think this is an opportunity to do that. And not Black millionaires, a significant opportunity for them to make some off this project. We've been doing it for years for other people and culture, and I think it's an opportunity for the city for we to do it this. I want to say that. Then thirdly, I've been watching, I've been forwarding, I've been attending some of your sessions to recruit and diversify in the bidding process. So I do want to echo the work that you all are doing. And I just put this out on social media that you gave us tonight. So as you continue to come up with the engagement outreach opportunities for the bid process, I ask that you continue to give it to the counselors so that we can make sure our constituents are aware of the process and the steps and what is available to them. Thank you so much again. I think, like I said, I think you all are doing a great job. Again, we want to just make sure that as much as is possible, and I'm going to use the word black, I don't have a problem saying it publicly.
Of course she doesn't.
Is available to them, because that's the population that has not received the just or the opportunity for so long. Thank you.
Oh man, Lakeisha Jackson reminding me of Nino Brown from New Jack City every time that she talks. Listen, everybody that's out there in YouTube land, you know how much I love you. All right, I love that you can stand me and you'll listen to me, and I try to have a good time with all of you. But even you guys understand of how much bullshit this is. Okay, when you have to go out and look for, we're just gonna use her example, for black business owners to become millionaires. Like, what job do you think they're gonna do in the labor market that off of one job that, oh, I'm a millionaire now because I put up a bunch of drywall or did trim work, or I don't know, insert whatever. Like, you at most you're gonna be, I'm sure they'll make off of it what, $50,000 or something, but this is a gigantic job. You're talking about hundreds of millions of dollar job. Oh, thanks taxpayers, on something like this. And there's no, this is the problem with these pencil pushers, and they live in such a delusional land that they see a building that costs, I don't know, what, $500 million, and they think, oh, only one guy built that building and he made all these millions of dollars off of it. It's just, they live in their own echo chamber. I mean, hey, you know what? I go off on the beat of my own drum, but at least I live in reality of how the process is done, not some like bullshit thing where one person, one angry white guy, is making all these millions of dollars off the backs of black guys and Hispanics, because that's not exactly how it works. And if she was even on a construction site or was mentored off of something, off of construction or some blue collar job, she would understand how it works. But you know what? This is also the lady, if you remember last year, it was either I think it was in 2022, where she said that providing clean needles to drug addicts was not enabling. So I'm not very surprised that she's coming up with all this garbage.
Any other questions?
What you want, Leroy?
Do we have any numbers to provide at this point on where we are with the collective or anything like that?
Yes. So again, of that 15 million that's been awarded to date, or at 15% participation, let me look over Haley's shoulder because I can't see the screen from here.
Okay.
How much money are they getting? That's what I want to know.
If you can speak directly on how they were selected, that'd be helpful as well. And I just want to emphasize again that we just don't want it to just be in trucking or drywall or.
What else do you think they're going to do, Leroy?
Well.
So
What else do you? It's a labor job. What do you think they're doing? Coding or something? You think that they're building robotics? Is that what you think they're doing? How do you think a building is built?
So, Councilor Robinson, to your question, so this particular group, as I mentioned before, trucking is one of those areas where it is extremely competitive, but it's also one of the industries where a number of our XBEs are able to start a business. But what ends up happening is the fact that, like I said, with one or two trucks, they're not competitive when it comes to the bids that come out for a larger opportunity. So we are encouraging those that are small to come together in a joint venture structure that we then certify in our office so that they can participate not only on this project but future projects. And so we're going to be looking at other areas of this project where we see that may be a challenge. And in order for some of these businesses to get an opportunity, we're encouraging them to look at, it may not be a joint venture of this size where there's 7 or 8 members, it may be 1, 2, or 3 members, but we want to make sure that those who don't have the ability to do a work by themselves, if they can consider partnering with someone else, then we want to help them through that process. And to Bill's point, it may not be an opportunity that they get specifically on this project, but if we can get them to a certain point, then our goal is to also help them on other projects that are coming down the pike.
And they're creating this on their own. You just guys giving them guidance. Is that correct?
Correct. Yes.
They're
Yeah.
on their own. They came together on their own. They created the collective. This is what we got, and you guys got to help them structure and put together to move it forward.
Yes.
Good. Yeah, we appreciate you guys doing that.
Mr. Bill
What don't you
respond.
get about that? These are all small businesses that can only handle small jobs. But if you have a bunch of small businesses together, and then now you could do big jobs. 1 + 1 = 2.
On the reports, does it include all the contractors, some subcontractors, the local businesses? Do you get all that information?
Yeah,
On the reporting, yes.
probably.
And for right now, I mean, there has been a limited amount of work. So I would say when we come back, let's say 3-4 months from now, we should be able to show contracts, letters of intent that have been signed, and have some dollar amounts as to what those contract scopes and sizes will look like. So right now, like I said, to Bill's presentation, the sort of preliminary work is being finished up. As we're hopefully moving into an early spring, now we'll start seeing some things coming up out of the ground, and then we anticipate seeing a lot of the work pick up in the spring and summer.
So right now, is it fair to say that the information is coming in a timely manner?
Yeah.
Yes.
I would have.
I mean, they are sharing information with us as they get it. And so.
What are you trying to get to?
What we're working through right now is to make sure that the process is one where we're able to get information as folks such as counselors are asking us. But AECOM is working with us, and we are, giving them guidance on what we need, and they're working with us in a timely manner to make sure we get that information so that we can share that with you.
Excellent. Thank you, Mr. Bill.
You know the whole reason why they're doing this, right? Because it's taxpayer money. If this was a private venture, if they would not have to be jumping through all these hoops to make sure that the affirmative action Gestapo isn't breathing down their neck. This whole thing has been about making sure that we get minority-owned businesses involved with the project. They did a little bit of updaters like this is where we're at. This is then we'll give more updates of what's going on. I'm kind of wondering who even wanted to hear about this.
Okay, in response to the question about the numbers so far, so of that, it's $15.4 million awarded to date to subcontractors. 16% of that, which is $636,000, has gone to an MBE subcontracting firm. $1.4 million has gone to women-owned businesses, and $265,000 has gone to veteran-owned businesses. And we have yet to engage a disabled-owned business enterprise. So the 15, 8, 3, and 1, we're at 16, less than 1 on the W, less than 1 on the veteran, and 0 on the W, or on the D.
And will this information be shared with the presentation you guys will send as well?
Yes, you'll get this slide in your email tomorrow.
Thank you.
Councilor Delaney.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I see that there are some folks from the Capital Improvement Board here, and I was hoping that they could comment on the matter as well. Thank you.
So I just did the quick math on this. That means $2.3 million of that $15 million went to XBE. Let's just like Latinx. XBE is all three of those combined.
Hi, I'm Andy Mallon, Executive Director of the Capital Improvement Board. Just to give some context, and I know it's hard to think about it because we've been talking about this project for years, right? And you guys have been very invested in it for months and years. And to say, you know, we hit the green light back in, what was it, June or July, and we've been pushing really hard. And we've only spent $15 million on a $500 million project, right? So just wanted to frame this as in context, is like we're really just demoing everything. We're getting the site ready to start building. We're not going to start building anything until April or May.
The foundation.
So, and that's those contracts. You guys worked really hard with Hunt and David's group to do those 52 different outreach events in preparation for bids that will be let this week or next. And that's hundreds of millions of dollars that will be let. So we're really early. This is good work on really fulfilling, trying to do really creative things to get as much work done with that $15 million initial spend. And most of that is an add after the fact, right? So we've worked really hard. I'm really proud of the work that David and Hunt have worked, that have done. They've heard the messages from you, from me, and are really stretching and being really creative. And I'd like to thank the council and them for first for you all pushing us in that direction, and then for them for listening and following through. So lots more to come, lots more opportunities to be creative, and happy to continue to report. So thanks.
Additional questions, comments from councilors? Okay, thank you. Seeing no other business before this committee, I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
Madam Chair, I move that we adjourn.
Second. We are adjourned.
Unbelievable. Just unbelievable. What a cluster. I mean, that whole update was just making sure that the XBE, the minority, women, and veteran-owned businesses are getting their 15% of the pie, because there are regulations in the city that I'm pretty sure it's public. I thought it was private too, but maybe it's anything that's like taxpayer helped on funding, that 15% of the project has to be done by XBE businesses. And like I said earlier, like, you can manipulate any of this stuff, but it just annoys me. I know I can't pause in the video to like stress the point, but like, Leroy, Lakeisha, and Maggie do not understand any of this stuff. All they see, they got the blinders on, right? They got the as what I hate to say it, but what Lakeisha said, she only cares about black people. So let's just put on the black blinders and making sure that only black people are getting a piece of the pie. And they explained to her earlier that the black truck driving company had a hard time trying to get the job because they couldn't get insurance for it, and they couldn't get a bond for it. And then they worked with the XBE department of Indianapolis and ACOM to make sure that they could get the bond and the insurance for it. I don't know how they did it, but they did it. But this is what, like, you know, I'm lost for words right now. The very first time I've actually lost for words, because there's things I want to say, but I'm not allowed to say. But you all know what I'm thinking. Like, let's just get the job done. Let's see how this whole thing turns out. This should be about a meritocracy, not about race and diversity. Who's the best person for the job? Are we getting the best deal? Are we getting the best bang for our buck? And who cares, really? Because people are making money, but if you have to have affirmative action to make sure that a group of certain people get paid, what's the quality going to be like then? And I kind of see where they're all going with this whole thing, and I'll just add one more point, but after this, but I see what they're saying is like, well, we don't want them to get small jobs. Well, if they don't have the capacity to do big jobs, how are they going to be able to do big jobs? All they can do is small jobs. And pretty much my last point is this. We're going to be seeing a lot more as the year goes on because what they say, April, May, the foundation starts, and then the bidding process for some of the other stuff happens in April, all the way up until June. I think that's what they said. And that work won't even start until next year. And who's to say that that business will even be around next year? That's another thing people forget about. They might bid out the project now, but then they have to wait 6, 8 months before they can even do the project because you have to get materials too. What if the materials are not available? What if the cost of the materials went up? Now they have to rebid the project. So that's all I got for now. Big announcement coming up soon. Tonight, sometime tonight, as long as these videos get transferred over fast enough. So, the Administration and Finance Committee was last night, I think it was, or the night before, and it got canceled. The Public Works Committee meeting was today. I will do that video tomorrow, and we'll just go from there. Very exciting stuff. Do not miss out. Until next time.